Welcome my students. Today we will discuss about the jewels of ocean, that is the coral reef. So first of all, what is coral? The corals are marine invertebrates in the class Anthozoa of the phylum Nidaria. They live in compact colonies of many identical individuals, and each individuals are known as polyps. You can see these are the polyps. The group includes the important reef builders that inhabit in the temporal ocean and secrete calcium carbonate to form the hard limestone. You can see these are the limestone framework of the coral polyps. Next, the structure of the polyps. So individual animals of the coral reefs are known as polyps. Polyps make their own limestone cup to hidden during the day when the sunlight is there. At night, the polyps come out to catch plankton floating by. In this picture, you can see the dissection of a polyp, and in this picture, you can see the polyps coming out of their calcium carbonate cell during the night. Now, thousands of these identical polyps live together to form the coral colony. Each polyp, each individual polyp, we can say, secrete calcium carbonate exoskeleton beneath it, and over long periods of time, the skeleton of many coral colonies add up to build the structure of a coral reef. So, coral reef is not just a single coral polyp; it's a amalgamation of various exoskeleton. They are present and they are built up to form the large coral reef. So next, the conditions necessary for coral reef formation. Coral needs environmental as well as various physical parameters to grow in the sea water. So first of all, the sunlight, then the clear water. That's why corals doesn't grow in the estuary, where although the water is saline, but coral doesn't grow because the water was not clear. And warm temperature, that is 20 to 32 degrees centigrade, the coral grows better. And for this reason, in the poles where the temperatures are below the normal level, that is around below the 0 degree centigrade, corals never grow in those regions. And last of not least, the salt water which is present in the ocean is the main basic requirement or conditions for the coral reef formation. Now, another interesting phenomenon occurred in the coral reef colony, that is a symbiotic relationship of the coral polyps with some algae. The group of algae is known as zooxanthellae. The coral provide protection to those algae, and in return, the zooxanthellae provide food and color. So if the coral expels these algae due to pollution or due to global warming or due to any other measure, the coral polyp died, and as a result of that, the remaining of the coral skeleton known as coral bleaching. And in this picture, you can see the polyps, and in the polyps, the algae are present, and when the algae expelled by the coral polyps die, and the remaining skeleton are known as these are the bleached coral that cannot be reverted back into the normal condition. Now the next slide, you can see the types of coral reef. There are several types of coral reefs, but the main three types of coral reefs are there. The fringing reef, and the Caribbean region it is found. It is the youngest coral reef which is growing around a new island. Then the barrier reef, these are not young, and these are thousands of miles away from the main island. And the barrier reef and the atoll reef, when the island sinks, the remaining coral reef remains as atoll. So in this picture you can see this is the natural picture of a fringing reef, and this is the barrier reef. This barrier reef is present thousands and miles away from the main island, and the coral atoll or atoll reef in the middle. There, once upon a time, there are some island. The island sinks inside the ocean, and the remaining portion known as atoll reef. So apart from these three main types of coral reef, there are various other types of coral reef we can encounter. So number one is patch reef. You can see in this picture, it's a patch like structure, apron reef, then bank reef, then ribbon reef, and then table reef. So in the next slide, you can see the distribution of coral reef throughout the world, and the coral reef is covered, estimated area of the coral reef covered in the ocean is 284,300 square kilometer, that is about 0.1% of the ocean surface. And in the Southeast Asia, they account 32.3% of the total population of the coral reef. And in this graph, you can see the corals are growing around the tropics, and the red spots are the coral reefs which are growing around various continents. And we can again know the name of the Great Barrier Reef, which is the largest barrier reef or largest coral reef which is present in the Queensland of Australia, and they are stretching about 2,600 kilometer area around the Australian coast. Now the importance. So corals are very important for human being from medicinal purpose, from economic purpose, as well as ecological purpose. The coral act as a preventer of shoreline that prevents sediments from washing up and damaging the shoreline. So they prevent the shoreline and act as a physical barrier, creates healthier protected coastline habitat, and as a result of that, if there are some cyclone, tsunami like cyclone or any cyclone, the coral reef protects the shoreline. Next, coral reefs are harvested for medicinal and jewelry purpose also, and you can see the beautiful jewelry. They are very much highly priced jewelry. They are made from the coral reef. And another thing is that coral reefs are also known as rainforest of the ocean, because they are the habitats. Coral reefs are the habitats of thousands of species, and they also attract tourism. The coral reef also attract tourism. Some countries depend on the coral reef tourism also, and they also support fisheries for local fishermen. So in this picture you can say and why coral reefs are known as the rainforest of the ocean. This is a beautiful picture where different individuals are inhabiting in the coral reef population. Now the threats, very important from this point of view, because coral are damaging, coral reefs are declining in these our continents day by day due to the global as well as local threats, and they cause a very bad consequences. As a result of that, the coral dies, and if the coral die, the economic as well as medicinal as well as ecological point of view will cost a very much for this loss of coral reef. So these are generally the 10 facts by which we can protect the coral reef from to become extinct, and most of them are very important, and education of the local individuals are very important in this purpose. So this is all about the corals, which are the jewels of the ocean, and you can ask me any question in my inbox if you have any doubt. Thank you very much.